Over the last 20 years, I've mentored more than 10,000 sales leaders, and there's one framework that I've taught them that helped them to build a top 1% sales team. And in this video, I'm gonna teach it to you. Now, here's where it all starts. You wanna stop looking at your team as a team and start looking at your team as individuals. If you wanna build a successful sales team, you need to know how to coach the individuals that you lead effectively, one at a time, one by one. And in fact, the ones add up to the collective whole team. So think of it that way, so slight shift in your mind, and in this framework will help you do just that. Okay, step number one, you wanna align with them. If you wanna get the most out of your team, if you wanna get the most out of each person that you lead, they need to feel valued. And to be valued, first you gotta just meet them where they're at. And the fastest way for your team to be able to connect with them is you want to align with them. And what does this mean? It means that you meet them where they are. Not where you think they should be, not where you wish that they were, but where they actually are. Meet them there. The principle is, before I say, follow me as your leader, I find you. And have you ever wondered why you can't get through to somebody that you lead and you wonder why they're not listening to you? Well, it's often because you're missing this one key: understanding and appreciating their world, meeting them where they are, aligning with them. Now, if you want to influence somebody, you got to know what already influences them. Now, how do you align? Well, this is kindergarten, but it's super profound. You listen. Like you have two ears and one mouth for a reason. Use them in that proportion. Did you ever notice that the word silent and the word listen have the same letters? The exact same letters make up those two words. And so while you're listening, you're silent and you're tuning into what they're saying, their metaverbal cues, their pitch, their tone, their stance, their voice inflections, not just the words that they say, but what's underneath those words. Now, you already know, okay, you gotta listen, got it, that's simple. But the magic that almost nobody does is knowing what to listen for. So let me just share with you a very simple model that I've learned that's extremely powerful. And what are we listening for? Well, I call it the mind, heart, feet assessment. First, where's their mind at? What are their specific goals? The heart, why do they want those specific goals? What does achieving those goals bring into their world that they do not already have? And their feet, what are their feet doing? Feet represents their results. What are their current results? And to find out their results, you have their metrics, but behind those metrics, what are the actions that they're taking? Those are the things that move people into the results that they have. How are they spending their time? Because here's the truth that I've learned. We're talking about mind, heart, feet assessment. You don't know enough about the people you lead if you don't know this about them. Where's their mind at? What are their goals? Where's their heart at? Why do they want those goals? And what are their feet doing? And so with that, I've learned that the mind and the heart control the feet. So if their feet aren't moving, or they're not moving in the speed that is needed or the right direction, it's because something is off in their mind and or their heart. Maybe their mind is not clear enough on what they want, or their heart is not anchored enough, wanting it bad enough. Our hands will not reach out for what our heart does not long for. So if we don't have a deep reason for that specific goal, forget it. When the going gets tough, we bail. They're gonna bail. And so a quick mind, heart, feet assessment, it's gonna help you align with your team and meet them where they are. And this is the first key to developing and growing your people. Now listen, you don't know enough about the people you lead if you don't know this about them. Where's their mind? Where's their heart? What are their feet doing? What are their specific goals? Not the goals that you give them, but the goals that they have for themselves for their reasons. And I'm so surprised how many leaders I work with, it's simple, it's basic, but how many are not doing that? And I want to challenge you. Think about somebody who's tough on your team right now that you're working with. Do you know their specific goals, what exactly they are? Okay, maybe you do, great. If you don't, bam, that's where you start. Okay, step two, you gotta lift them. So you've aligned with them, now you lift them. There's three ways to lift your people, and I call them the 3 B's. First, be sincere. Lift them with genuine appreciation. No fake fluff crap where you're gonna pretend and just falsely lift people. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking real respect for who they are as a human being and as a member of your team. And I love the word sincere. It comes from the Latin, which means without wax. It's sincere, without wax. Now, ancient potters used wax to cover their cracks, and the best work did not need wax. And so your leadership should be the same. No fillers, no covering up. Be specific. Literally call out the great work that they are doing. Now, even if somebody isn't producing well or the way that you need and want them to do, find something worth recognizing. Let me just give you an example. I appreciate how you are showing up early, you're sitting in front, you're bringing good energy to our meetings. Maybe that's what they're doing and their results are suffering, but you start there and you want to be specific. Give specific reasons why you admire them and respect them. And here's the thing, if you can't find anything to recognize somebody on your team for, ask yourself, why are they on my team? That's on you as a leader for keeping somebody on your team that has nothing that you can respect them for. And you want to believe. So you want to be sincere, be specific, believe in them. And I know this is basics, this is fundamentals, this is back to the basics, but here's the thing. I love what the ancient philosopher Goethe said. He says, if you treat a man as he is, he'll stay as he is. But if you treat him as if he were what he could and ought to be, he'll become what he could and ought to become. Now you want to treat people as if they already are what they could become, and they'll rise to it. And as we're talking about being sincere, but be specific, believe in them, because we all need a lift. But too many leaders, they just stop here. They align with people to death, they lift them to death, and without taking the next critical step. And now this is key. That just lays a foundation. And that's where real leadership begins. Now, if you're getting value from this video already, we're not even done. We're gonna go deep here into the two last final key things, which are teeth to help the growth process happen. But I wanna give you something special. For leaders serious about growth, I'm offering a free sneak peek into my Sellership Masterclass, where I teach you how to master the transition from sales to leadership. Now, normally this program costs $2,500, but today I want to give you a taste of it absolutely free. And I've packaged some of my most powerful leadership secrets into a mini masterclass for you. And it's yours today at no cost. So just click on the link in the description to check it out, claim your copy. Now, let's get to the next steps. We've talked about aligning with them, we talked about lifting them. Now, you've got to challenge them. And too many leaders get stuck just aligning their people and lifting them, but they never make the shift into challenging them. That's a huge mistake. The principle is simple. I care about you too much to leave you where you're at. Now, your job isn't to keep them where they are. Your job is to lift them into higher ground, challenging them to new heights. Now, you do this by challenges that are well received. It does not work if you give a challenge and it's not well received. You're gonna get a ton of resistance. Now, you've aligned with them, you've lifted them, and now it's time to challenge them. And when people feel understood and they feel appreciated, they feel like you've met them where they are, they're far more open to being challenged. If they know that you care about their success, if they know that you have their back, they will appreciate the challenge, even if it's direct and if it's hard to hear. But if they don't feel that you've connected with them, that you actually don't like them, and that you're persecuting them instead of challenging them, and you're just blaming them, and you're just, as a leader, you're stonewalling them, they'll reject the challenge that you have and they'll blame you for it. Instead of being fired up, they're gonna be frustrated and resenting you. Now, how do you challenge effectively? I'll tell you what, after 20 years of building and leading sales teams, you wanna be my friend. You wanna be soft like a brick. It's what I call the most effective leadership principle. Soft, they need to know you care. The brick is being willing and skilled to have the needed hard conversations when they show up. Now, you have not succeeded if your challenge creates resentment, resistance instead of growth. One tip to be soft like a brick is you want to get their permission. You've aligned with them, boom, you met them where they are, you've lifted them, finding a meaningful way to lift them so they know that you freaking care about them, and then you challenge them. But here's the thing, to be soft like a brick, you want to get their permission. And before you challenge them, it's what I call the golden question. It's magic. Do I have your permission to challenge you? Now, you can ask that in 100 different ways. Hey, mind if I challenge you a little bit? Hey, mind if I point something out that might be a little bit hard to hear? You want to just, whatever, you can say it in tons of different ways. As long as they know that you freaking care about them, you ask them for permission, they're going to take that and be like, huh, you give them a chance to brace rather than just chuck a brick at them when they're off balance, right? They give a brace, yeah, and they give you permission to be able to challenge them. It makes them more receptive. and it makes them less likely to resist what you have to say. I know it's simple, but in fact, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, because real leadership isn't about pushing people harder. It's about helping them rise to their potential. So you've got to challenge them, and challenge them directly. Challenge them soft like a brick. If they know that you care, boom, they're gonna be way more receptive when you offer them a challenge. And one way to soften that up is just ask for their permission. Okay, so you've aligned with them, you've lifted them, you've challenged them, and now it's time, my friend. Step number 4. We're talking about effective leadership and really providing leadership that draws out the top 1% of teams anywhere in your industry. Step 4 is get out of their way. Now, this might surprise you and you're like, what are you talking about? But after you've aligned with them, you've lifted them, you've challenged them, you've got to get out of their way. Think about teaching a kid to ride a bike. You can explain everything, hold the seat, and run alongside them, but at some point you have to let go, right? Now that's the goal. You want to coach them, you want to teach them, and then let them fly. Great leaders don't create followers. You don't want a bunch of people following you. The best leaders, the 1% leaders, they create more leaders. And so you've got to let them fly. Now, how do you know when to step back? Now look for these 3 things as you're looking to get out of their way. 1, are they the right person for the role? If they're not, boom, you have some other decisions and discussions to have. 2, have you set clear expectations on what you expect from them? Are they clear on them? And 3, have you adequately trained them? If the answer is yes, then let them fly. Give them the space to make mistakes. In fact, make it a mantra on your team. We make new mistakes, and encourage new mistakes. Now, once it comes back the second time, that's not acceptable. We learn from them and allow your team to be learn-it-alls, but get out of their way and let them fly. Okay, I challenge you to apply these principles every single day as a leader. Align with the people you lead. You'll truly get to know them, lift them, and you'll know when and how to encourage them. As you meet them where they are, you'll know how to lift them. As you meet them where they are, you'll know how to challenge them, when to challenge them, and how to do it. To push them to become their highest and best individually and be able to be a huge contributor to your team. And you want to get out of the way and you empower them to rise. Now, leadership is not about control. It's about building leaders who can stand on their own 2 feet and get the highest results. So as we talk through align, lift, challenge, and get out of the way, these are some of the secrets for highly impactful leadership. While you're going through these and putting these into play, your team will be going through recognizable stages, macro stages. And if you're not ready for them, this could be the reason your team fails. In this next video, I break down these stages and how to navigate them as a high-performing leader to build a team that produces results. And don't forget to grab your free mini masterclass on the 4 keys to effective coaching that is linked here in the description for you.